Prabhupada. Sa ugradhanvam yad eva babhashe Asisha chatushnim aravinda nabham Dhyaopagrinam smeta sobhitena Mukhena cheto lulubhe devahutyaha. Maitreya is now continuing to Ugradhanvam. Ugradhanvam may address to Vidura. Vidura is the son of Vyasadeva, from a maid servant, but he is Ugardhanvam. Ugardhanva, a great warrior Vidura. So Vidura was, when he left the kingdom of Maharaj Dhritarashtra, he left his bow and arrow at the gate. The significance is that he said, I am not going to take any side now. I am just leaving this. I am not going to change party. I am going for pilgrimage. So he is called Ugardhanva. So he was a warrior. He was a warrior. Iyad eva bhashe. After Kardam Muni said like that, Asi chatushnim arvinda nabham. And when he stopped speaking Tushnim, then he was thinking of Arvinda Nabham, which means Lord Vishnu. Dhiyo upagrahanan simitta sobhitena. And on his face there was a smile. It means he was meditating on Supreme Lord Vishnu. Mukhena cheto lulubhe devahutyaha. And at that time he was captivated by the beautiful face of Devahuti. So Maitreya said, O great warrior Vidura, the sage Ugardham said this much and this much only, and then becomes silent, thinking of his worshipable Lord Vishnu, who has a lotus on his navel. As he silently smiled, Kardam, his face captured the mind of Devahuti, who began to meditate upon the great sage. So, purport is about the consciousness of Kardam Muni. And here it says, it appeared that Kardam Muni was fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Because as soon as he becomes silent, he at once began to think of Lord Vishnu. That is the way of Krishna consciousness. Pure devotees are so absorbed in thought of Krishna that they have no other engagement. Although they may seem to think or act otherwise, they are always thinking of Krishna. The smile of such a Krishna conscious person is so attractive that simply by smiling he wins so many admirers, disciples and followers. So many disciples of Srila Prabhupada said they were just waiting for the smile of Prabhupada. Just a little smile of Prabhupada have changed the life of so many people. So pure devotees, because when they are smiling, basically they are seeing the Supreme Lord, they are smiling for that. And that smile attracts the people because they are smiling by having the consciousness of thought of Krishna. So this is a good thing. It's not, Srila Prabhupada is taking purport from the context of Devahuti, and Kardam is taking the context of the Krishna conscious person, and his meditation and his smitta or smile admires so many people, followers and disciples. Yeah, I think everybody has the experience of smile of some, how the people are captivated by that. So basically they are not smiling just to attract people, but they are smiling really because they are seeing the mercy and hand of Krishna in all the activities. So because of their Krishna consciousness, they become all attractive for all the people. Anybody who is practicing even sadhana bhakti, Uttan bhakti, in sadhana bhakti, what is the characteristic of a devotee? Klesha Gani and Shubhada. And in Shubhada, he becomes, people are attracted to him. He becomes, people like him. So even at the sadhana stage, there is a Shubhada. And under the Shubhada heading, if you remember, it is said that he become attractive to all. All people are attracted to him. So even at that stage, so what to speak of the people who are advanced in spiritual knowledge? That is the important. Also, O fiery warrior Vidura, just as a warrior like you does not turn from battle, Kardam does not turn from dharma. So this is why Vidura was addressed as Ugar Dhanva. Because the Kshatri never turn their face away from war, if he is challenged. So Kardam, he will never turn his face away from dharma, on which he was focused. Dharma recommended by the Lord. What was the dharma recommended by Lord? Which he has told Paramhansa. Paramahansa dharma in a previous verse. The mind of Kardam become attracted by the smiling face of Devuti. Now Chakravarti Pad is taking otherwise. He's seeing smiling face of Devuti attracted Kardam. And Prabhupada writes, Kardam's smile attracted Devuti. So the mind of Kardam become attracted by the smiling face of Devuti. From this it is understood that Manu and his wife did not feel regret, lamenting that they had given their daughter to a renounced person, because though he was already renounced, but he has a heart and feelings for Devuti. So they were so now the two Acharya has a different purport or feeling. One is saying Kardam was smiling, other is saying Devuti is smiling. So the smiling of Devuti and response of Kardam gave peace to the heart of Manu and Shatrupa, because they are not going to give the daughter to a dry, renounced person, but he has a heart and feelings and sentiments. That is what Chakravarti Pad is saying. Next verse. Okay, this verse. So anugyatva vyavasitam Mahesha duhitoho sputam Tasmai guna adhyaya Dadau tulyam praharshitaha. After having unmistakably known the decision of the queen, means Shatrupa, as well as that of Devuti, the emperor most gladly gave his daughter to the sage, whose host of virtues were equal to hers. It means they have samana gunaha, same characteristics, same age, and other similar things. Usually in astrology, they count the match of the two, and the gunas are more than, say, 18, 20, then the match is good. If they are less than that, then always there are troubles in the family. So this is the astrological calculation. So now next, after consultation of Vanu, offered daughter, okay. After that, understanding the desire of his daughter, the queen, he gave to the Kardam. Okay, this okay. Next. Next verse, verse number 23. Shatarupa Maharagni Pari Brahan Mahadhanan Dampatyoha Paryadat Pritya Bhusha Vasha Parichadna. Now the word Paribrahan means dowry. So Shatrupa Maharani is a great queen, Mahadhanan, a lot of wealth. What type of wealth? Which is used for dampatya, for a family life. She gave out of love. What? Bhusha, it means ornaments. Vasa means cloth. And Parichadan means the necessary household items. So they brought all and they gave. So Prabhupada is speaking about the dowry system, and which was prevalent at that time. So Empress Shatrupa lovingly, Pritya, gave most valuable presents, the Mahadhanan, suitable for occasion, such as jewelry, cloth, household articles, and dowry to the bride and bridegroom. The custom of giving one's daughter in charity with a dowry is still current in India. The girls are given according to the position of his father of the bride, whatever his position is. If the poor, he can give something. Prabhupada said, if he has nothing, he can give a flower and a leaf. Just he give a tulsi leaf and a flower, that is enough. But he should give something, that is important. So, Paribharam Mahadhana means dowry which must be awarded to the bridegroom at the time of marriage. Here the Mahadhana means greatly valuable gift befitting to the dowry of an empress. The words Bhusha Vasa, we have discussed this, okay, you know this. Now, next, all things befitting the marriage ceremony of an emperor's daughter were awarded to Kardam Muni, who was until now observing celibacy as a brahmachari. The bride Dehuti was very richly dressed with ornaments and clothing. In this way, Kardam Muni was married with full opulence to a qualified wife and was endowed with a necessary paraphernalia for household life. In the Vedic way of marriage, such a dowry is still given to the bridegroom by the father of the bride, even in poverty-stricken India. There are marriages where the hundreds and thousands of rupees are spent for dowry. The dowry system is not illegal, as some have tried to prove. The dowry is a gift given to the daughter by a father to show goodwill, and it is compulsory. In rare cases where the father is completely unable to give dowry, it is enjoined that he must at least give a fruit and a flower. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, God can also be pleased even by fruit and flower. When there is a financial inability and no question of accumulating a dowry by another means, one can give a fruit and flower. So, like the boys has a share in the property of the father, sons have a share. So daughter can be given a share at the time of marriage as in the form of dowry. But this was misused in a present day. You know, the misuse in a present day. They are selling their sons. Huh? They are selling their sons. Say how much you will give that we can give you daughter. Yeah? The language in Marwar is khokha, means crore. Not 100,000, which car, which model car. So this is wrong. According to the means of a father of a bride, he should give the dowry to the... This is good in South Indians. They will not spend much on the tent and food and all that, but they give the kilos of the gold to the daughter and the place, land and something to the daughter that they can live peacefully. Because all those who eat and go away, they will never praise anybody. Oh, iski achhi usse shaadi thi. And one day people were not to give to the daughter, that is better. I like that system. यहाँ तो लाखों रुपए नहीं, करोड़ों रुपए खर्च करते हैं और एक खाने वाला किसी का कुछ नहीं सुनता. It's useless. Hare Krishna. Okay, next verse. Okay, this. What? Bridegroom has to. This is called Kanya Shulk. In Sanskrit, it's called Kanya Shulk. Like the father of the girl will say, I can only hand over you to the daughter if the son of my daughter become king. This was the Kanya Shulk by the Maharaj Kekai. Kekai, when he gave hand over the Kekai to Maharaj Dasrath, he said, why you want to marry my daughter? Because you have no children from your previous wives. It means you agree with me that son of my daughter will be the next king. It's called Kanya Shulk. Yes, this is also prevalent in some Kshatri kings previously. And some marriages in that time were political marriages, just to make agreements, something like that. Chandragupta Maurya married some daughter of the commander of Sikandar, simply to make a sort of political arrangement for safety. The princes of present Jaipur, Amar, was handed over to the Mughal Emperor Akbar at that time, just to save the whole state from onslaught of the Mughals. So there are some type of marriages in which you have to pay something. So there are 8 type of marriages in Manu Samrti. So these are some different type of marriages, but presently the standard marriage is Vedic marriage, where the daughter's father go and offer the daughter to the right young grown-up boy of his same nature. That is the best. Our next verse. Thus relieved of his responsibility by handing over his daughter to the suitable man, Swambhu Manu, his mind agitated by feeling of separation, embraced his affectionate daughter with both his arms. So this is now a typical scene of separation of the girls from their parents at the time of marriage. This is a completely sort of emotion in which they are very happy at the depth of their heart, but same time they are very much feeling pain of separation. This is a very interesting, actually. They are happy because girl is going according to the Vedic system, handed over to the right person. Now her life will start, and they are feeling separation because they are now she is no more their daughter. So this feeling is only those who have experienced this, they can know this. This feeling is a very completely different feeling, and we preach this feeling in a different style. The soul is basically a energy of the Lord, and husband of the soul is Lord himself. So who the owner of the soul is like a mother and a father of the soul, because we are living in this body. So like the one girl is born, the mother always think that I have to one day hand over this daughter to a eligible husband, and she prepare for that. So all the people, from the day they become at least intelligent and understanding the things, they should start knowing that one day I have to leave this body. This soul is going to leave this body. One day I have to do that. And for that I must prepare. Because the dowry is prepared by the parents by the day the girl is born. They think of that. Every small thing they accumulate. So every individual should start by the age of 5 preparing for the day when he has to depart from there. Once somebody has invited me to go in some house program, and the devotee was dancing there in Kirtan. When it was time for me to speak, I asked him, what is the occasion? He says, some departed in their family. My God, I think what they are doing, they are dancing, and the person. So then I started my talk that when the girl is departing from the family, the parents are happy and also crying. So when the saintly person leaves this world, the worldly people are very happy because he has gone back home, back to Godhead, but because of separation they are crying. It means the person who left the body in this home definitely was some saintly person, because so nice kirtan and dancing is going on after that. So then I have to make the situation understandable for them, that it means the person was actually good person, like saintly person goes, we never cry. We just think that he's going back to Godhead. But also, we feel separation. So this is, when Prabhupada departed at that time, they said it's same like wife is crying for the husband when he leaves the body. He knows. It's like the disciple has to cry when the spiritual master leaves the body, but he should be also jubilant that he's gone back to Krishna. So this feeling is a worldly feeling, but we have to really preach this feeling in a... it's my common preaching to the householder that you should prepare something. This is what we're chanting every day. This is what we are accumulating our wealth as a dowry to our soul when we leave this body. Because that dowry will carry us back home, back to Godhead. This marag ke gine jaya na kosa, hari naam uha sang tosha. When we leave this world, we will go a long distance. We cannot carry anything with us. Nothing like this. Only Harinam will go with us. Only Harinam will go with us. So what we are doing is we are accumulating actually the dowry for the soul to depart from this world and go back home, back to Godhead. You understand what I'm saying? This is a good preaching strategy for the people, because they can relate to this, because they have this experience in the life. So we should be happy as well as we should feel the pain of separation. Hmm? Yeah.
So how he can embrace?
That is in lonely place. This is now in the public. There's only in lonely place they should not be alone together. But when there is a when there's a vidai, when they're giving the girls allowed to leave the home, at that time in a public they cry and they embrace and do all that. That is a different mood completely. It's not a lonely place, they should not. This only in lonely place is not allowed. The father always remains in anxiety until he can hand over his growing daughter to a suitable boy. A father and mother's responsible for children continue until they marry them to a suitable spouses. When the father is able to perform that duty, he is relieved of his responsibility. Prabhupada is writing this because when he was thinking that I have to leave and take sannyas, he said, still I have children. He said, Krishna will take care of them. I mean, say, usually, Prabhupada, it is a responsibility actually for the parents to get their children properly settled in life. 25. Ashkno vanstada virham monchan bhashpa kalam moho asinchada ambavat tasyeti. These are the symptoms of separation. Ashka anuvansa tada vraham. In the separation of the daughter, tears were rolling down the cheek. Muncha bhasam kalam muhu anchan ambavati. And he was saying, my daughter, my mother. So usually, even in present day, बच्ची को बोले ए मेरी माँ, they used to say like that, amba means ma. Net duhita sikha, and by tears the head of the daughter was moist. That's what it means actually. What is this? The emperor was unable to bear the separation of his daughter Viraha. Therefore tear poured from his eyes again and again, muhu, drenching his daughter's head as he cried, Duhiti Shikha Netrodai. My dear mother Amba, my dear daughter Vatsa iti. The word Amba is significant. Father sometimes addresses his daughter in affection as mother, and sometimes as my darling. The feeling of separation occurs because until the daughter is married, she remains the daughter of the father. But after her marriage, she is no longer claimed as a daughter in the family. She must go to the husband's house. For after a marriage, she becomes the property of the husband. According to Manu Samrita, then there are 3 stages of the woman. Okay? Next verse. Verse number 26 and 7. Amantritam muni varam अनुज्ञातः सह अनुगः तस्थथे रथम आरोह्य स भार्यः स्वपुरं नृपा उभयो ऋषिकुलयायाः सरस्वत्याः सरोवर उदयौ सह ऋषीणाम उपशान्तानां पश्यन्नाश्रमः सम्पदाः. Rishi Kulyam is a word Prabhupada has actually explained in the purport. Rishi Kulyam, hermitage of the rishis, are so pleasing when we see such places. So this is the main purport is on Rishi Kulyam. After asking and obtaining the great sage's permission to leave, the monarch mounted his chariot with his wife and started for his capital, followed by his retinue. Along the way, he saw the prosperity of the tranquil seers, rishis. Prosperity means sampada. Beautiful hermitages, Kula, Rishi Kula, on both of the charming banks of Saraswati, the river so agreeable to saintly persons. Now, Srila Prabhupada's purport. As cities are constructed in a modern age with the great engineering and architectural craftsmanship, so in days gone by, there were neighborhood called Rishikula, where great saintly persons resided. In India, there are still many magnificent places for spiritual understanding. There are many rishis and saintly persons living in nice cottages on the banks of the Ganga and Yamuna for the purpose of spiritual cultivation. While passing through, the Rishi Kulas, the king and his party were very much satisfied with the beauty of the cottages and hermitages. It is stated here, Pashyan Ashram Sampadam. The great sage had The great sages have no skyscrapers. But the hermitages were so beautiful that king was very much pleased at the sight. Culture, the saintly people should have very simple and natural living standard. That's called Rishi Kulya. Right? Rishi Kulya means the reverse of the sages, are beneficial to the group of the sages. Suro, the Soho, means on the beautiful banks. Now, Prabhupada says still there are. And yes, in Gokul you go, you see the at Gokul, there are still some thatch roofs, nice at the Karshani ashram at the bank of Jamuna. This is like Rishi Kulya. Still they made these simple thatch roofs and living, and their prasad hall is just Birjaraj, nothing else. And no outside people is allowed to enter in the kitchen without dhoti. There are some little rules observed there, and the whole is atmosphere is very, very peaceful, and this is called Rishi Kulya. At one time we wanted to have this type of structure in Gaushala, but they said no, it's a prime land, you cannot have like that. You can have to have a skyscraper. No, but it's still, if we live simply, then we can grow spiritually. If we live lavishly, then we will dwindle spiritually. Very simple. Very simple. Live simply, grow spiritually. Live lavishly, diminish spiritually. Very simple. Yeah. When I came to Vrindavan, even in 90s, there was one water cooler in whole ashram. One water cooler for one very senior old Prabhupada disciple. Otherwise, only fan and we used to sprinkle water on the roof and then sleep by 12 o'clock to get. I mean, this was so, and there was only one telephone at guest house reception. And there was a line of the people whole night to receive the call overseas. And otherwise, if we have to call, anybody has to call, he has to go downtown to Banke Bihari, and there's one phone there. It was so simple. I mean, it was so simple life. There was nothing like that. Now, every room has an air conditioner. Yeah? And every person has 2 telephones. But spiritually, that time, the consciousness was very, very, you can say, well, devotees were more Krishna conscious and austere. Now it's lavish. There's no doubt about that. Here in Juhu building, the devotees were living on the top floor, taking bucket of water from below, and the holes were as a toilet, the holes in the ears, and this was for the European and American people, what to speak of Indian, and they lived like that here. And if you have one chapati left, then the mouse of the size of a cat will come and take it away. They lived a very hard life, Prabhupada told Jamuna Devi, you were waterproof in England because it is raining all the time. Now in Vrindavan, you have to become fireproof. So it's so hot. So she said, I used to sprinkle water, and then just in a small cloth, I have to take rest for a couple hours, that's all. Vrindavan ki garmi mein bina, even pankha bhi more nahi hota tha. Ye haath wala pankha ya kapde wala pankha chalta tha. प्रभुपाद दामोदर मंदिर में रहते 65 के एज के थे, और आप अभी भी रूम देख सकते हैं ना, वो कैसा रूम है। अब तब लाइट थी कि नहीं थी हम कह नहीं सकते हैं। भाई हम पढ़ रहे थे तब लाइट नहीं थी हमारे वहाँ, और हम बिना लाइट के 10वीं तक पढ़ लिया हमने, कोई ज़रूरत नहीं थी बिजली जलाने की, ऐसे पढ़ सकते थे, रह सकते। छत के ऊपर सोते थे, सुबह अपने आप 5 बजे तो उठना ही उठना है। मक्खी आके उठा देती थी, सो नहीं सकते बाहर, बाहर सो नहीं सकते आप। इट वॉज जस्ट नेचुरल लाइफ। हरे कृष्ण। सो सिंपलिसिटी कहीं डेवलप करनी चाहिए। आप अभी तक कुछ यंग है, हो सकता है रह जाओ। हम उस लाइफ में जिए हैं, फिर भी अभी उसमें जी नहीं सकते हैं। वी आर सो डिपेंडेंट नाउ। और आप सब भी डिपेंडेंट इतने हो गए हैं कि आप उस लाइफ में रह नहीं सकते। और उसके बगैर आप एक्चुअली ये भागवतम भी कभी समझ नहीं सकते, क्योंकि वो ऐसे ही रहते थे। सब जो भागवत पढ़ते थे ऐसे रहते थे। हा? हमारे भागवत समझ में राधा गोविंद महाराज कहते हैं कि भागवत के लिए गांव का रहने का एक्सपीरियंस होना चाहिए, क्योंकि सब बातें वैसी हैं जो गांव में होती है। वृंदावन तो विलेज है, तो वो भी एटमॉस्फेयर का पता होना चाहिए कैसा होता है। अब यंग बॉय हैं, कुछ कभी कभी एक्सपेरिमेंट करके गांव में चले जाओ, जिसको जानते नहीं हो वहाँ जाके आप प्रचार करके देख लो कि आपको क्या रियलाइजेशन होती है, अनुभव होते हैं। यहाँ तो इनविटेशन के ऊपर प्रचार करने जाते हैं, वो भी हमारा मन किया क्या प्रसाद बना है, पनीर है तो जाएंगे, नहीं तो नहीं है। ये ऋषि कुल्य के ऊपर याद आ जाता है कि कुछ सिंपल लाइफ होनी चाहिए। हमें से मन करता है, अभी रह नहीं पाएंगे, लेकिन फिर भी आपने उसका देखा है, वो गार्षण गुरु का अपना अंदर का कमरा उसका देखा है सब। हाँ, अंदर एयर कंडीशन भी लगा है, अंदर सारी फैसिलिटी है, लेकिन बाहर कम से कम देखने में तो नेचुरल है, डिपेंडेंट तो नहीं है। कुछ किया जा सकता है, ऐसा नहीं है, हम ट्राई करें तो किया जा सकता है। हरे ऑफ हिज अराइवल, अब हम पहुंच गए। जॉय टू नो, मेरे ख्याल में सेकंड सेक्शन से हमारा नया है। वर्स नंबर 28 to 39, स्वयंभू मनुज वंडरफुल रूल, सो हिज किंगडम एंड रूल। यस प्रभु। गुरुकुल स्कूल हो गया, ऋषिकुल रेजिडेंस हो गया। गुरुकुल का मतलब है द स्टूडेंट लिविंग इन द आश्रम ऑफ ए गुरु, एंड ऋषिकुल में already who are established rishis, they are living there for their sadhana and meeting, like Badri Shand Mandite Satravardhanam, about the Badrika ashram, Vyasdev. There are continuous discourse are going on. Rishis were living there. वो ऋषि कुल्य, it is like ऋषि कुल्य at the bank of सरस्वती। वो सरस्वती के किनारे में ऋषि रहते थे वहाँ। अभी कहीं ऐसे कुंभ मेले में आप आके देखिए, ऐसे कुछ झोपड़ियों में रहते हैं, वहाँ कुछ थोड़ा सा एक्सपीरियंस होता है कि साधु कैसे रहते हैं। अभी हम वहाँ भी, हमने भी 5 स्टार फैसिलिटी चालू कर दी हैं आस्ते आस्ते। नहीं, पहले हम रहते थे, बहुत सिंपल था। टेंट में रहते थे, नीचे घास डालते थे और नीचे सोना था। बहुत सिंपल जीवन। वहाँ 1 महीना लेके देखते, और ठंडी 0 टेम्परेचर में रहना है, और सुबह ठंडे पानी में नहाना है। हम इसी तरह थोड़ा ऋषि कुल्य का एक्सपीरियंस है। आप आना अभी कुंभ मेले में। 2001 में ब्रजहरि प्रभु पूरे ब्रह्मचारी टीम के साथ आके रहा था 15 दिन। वहाँ भीमा प्रभु रहा था। सिंपल लाइफ में ये सब लोग एक्सपेरिमेंटली रह के उन्होंने देखा है। उधर रुके थे वहाँ। हाँ, नर्मदा वाले किनारे में नहीं, ये हमारा वाला अभी होगा प्रयागराज में, वो नदी के पेट में होगा। अभी हैं, साधु रहते हैं, अच्छी बात है। सो दिस सेक्शन इज स्वयंभू मनुज वंडरफुल रूल। इट मीन्स हिज सिटीजन्स, हिज कैपिटल, एंड पर्सनली द कृष्ण कॉन्शियस atmosphere of Swayambhu Manu's family. That is the last section of the verses. We will finish this soon. Tamayan abhipretya Brahma vartat prajaha patim Geetam sangstutihi vaditrahi प्रत्योद्युः परहस्थिता Tam means Swayambhu Manu. Ayantam means when he arrived. Abhi Pretya, when they knew this, where Brahmavartam, the place where he was going. Prajapatim, he was the ruler of the city. Gita, they were singing so many nice songs. Astuti, praying him. Vadrahi, by the different musical instrument. So this is Prabhupada is immediately thinking of Krishna coming after Kurukshetra to Dwarka. How he was received there. So here is the meaning. Oh, it is, where are we? Translation? Custom, but we should. Okay. Translation. Overjoyed to know his arrival, his subjects came forth from Brahmavat to their returning Lord with songs, prayers, and musical instrument. And Prabhupada's purport. It is the custom of the citizen of the kingdom's capital to receive the king when he returns from the tour. Okay? कुछ हो गया इधर? Okay. When he returns from tour, there's a similar description from the Krishna return to Dwarka. But after reading all this, what we should do is, similarly, when the spiritual masters of saintly people are coming, there is always a reception for them. So we should practically translate this in our circumstances. When Prabhupada used to come, hundreds of devotees used to go to the airport. There was a big kirtan. When he arrives, then there was a reception, garlands, all this. So this is the culture, to receive a gentleman. But there are other systems which we have forgotten. After receiving, first thing is to, first we garland them there, we chant, we glorify. Then when he arrives there, then washing his feet. Padyam, Achmanyam, Madhupakram. It means he has come from long distance, so we should give him some nourishing drink. Madhupakra is a special drink made with the honey, yogurt and milk. All together is a refreshing drink to be given to the person coming from a distance, then giving him asan, and then talking with him. There are a system of receiving the guest. Or this is a reception. Brahmavarta kingdom, Sarvabhouma was nicely dressed. Prabhupada said that the cities used to have gates and the walls. Delhi still has a gate, Ajmeri gate, towards Ajmer. And some cities used to have the different gates and the walls, though. So this is the Swayambhumanu's city was like that. Okay, verse 29 and 30. So this is the city of Brahmati, rich in all kinds of wealth. Brahmati is a capital of Aryavart, of Swayambhumanu. Brahmati is the name of capital of Swayambhumanu. It was rich in all kinds of wealth, was so called because Lord Vishnu's hair dropped there. इसको ब्रह्मति क्यों कहते हैं? वारादेव का एक बाल. Varadev, one hair fell there. So that place is called of his body when he manifested himself as a boar. As he shook his body, this very hair fell and turned into blade of evergreen kush grass. ये जो कुश घास है ये भगवान वारादेव का बाल है. और ये जो बृहस्पति है यहाँ सिर्फ हरा हरा कुश ग्रास है और काश ग्रास है. कुश ग्रास एंड काश ग्रास. काश ग्रास इज टू मेक द चटाई खटिया. अच्छा, चटाई फॉर द साधुस, फॉर दैट पर्पस. So another kind of grass used for mats, by means of which the sages worshipped Lord Vishnu after defeating the demon who had interfered with the performance of his their sacrifice, हिरण्याकश, वारादेव ने हिरण्याकश को मारा था, उसके बाद उसकी पूजा की थी. Purport. Any place directly connected with the Supreme Lord is called a Peeth Sthan. Peeth Sthan. Brahmati, the capital of Swayambhu Manu, was exalted not because the city was very rich in wealth and opulence, but because the hair of Lord Varaha fell at this very spot. These hairs of Lord later grew as green grass, and the sages used to worship the Lord with that grass after the time when the Lord killed the demon Hiranyaksha. Yagna means Vishnu and the Supreme Personality Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, karma is described as yagna artha karmano. So this yagya, karma work must be done for the Vishnu. So yagya means Vishnu. Now Prabhupada writes, if something is done for sense gratification or any other purpose, it will be binding upon the worker. If one wants to be freed from the reaction of his work, he must perform everything for satisfaction of Vishnu or Yagna. In the capital of Swayambhu Manu, Brahmati, these particular functions were being performed by the great sages and saintly persons. So, this is the Krishna conscious atmosphere of Swayambhu Manu's kingdom. What was Brahmavarth like? In that place there was a city of Brahmati, where the hair of Lord Varaha fell. Kush and Kash grass. Okay. Now the verse number 31. 31. 29, 32, glories of Manu's capital. So two more verses, glories of Manu's capital. The Kush, Kash, Mayam, Bahir, the same thing. Manu spread a seat of Kush and Kash and worshipped Lord, the personality of Godhead, by whose grace he had obtained the rule of terrestrial globe. So here is a purport. Manu is the father of mankind, and therefore from Manu comes the word man, or in Sanskrit Manushya. Those who are in the better position in the world, having sufficient wealth, should especially take lesson from Manu, who acknowledge his kingdom and opulence to be the gift from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus always engage in devotional service. Similarly, the descendant of Manu, human beings, especially those who are situated in well-to-do condition, must consider that whatever riches they have are gift from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those riches should be utilized for the service of the Lord in sacrificial performed to please Him. That is the way of utilizing wealth and opulence. No one can achieve wealth, opulence and good birth, a beautiful body or a nice education without the mercy of Supreme Lord. क्या है ये चार चीजें? Janam Aishwarya, this is only by the mercy of the Lord. So, therefore, those who are in possession of such valuable facilities must acknowledge their gratefulness to the Lord by worshipping Him and offering what they have received from Him. When such acknowledgement is given, either by family, nation, society, their abode becomes almost like Vaikuntha, and it becomes free from operation of threefold miseries of material world. In the modern age, the mission of Krishna consciousness is for everyone to acknowledge the supremacy of Lord Krishna. Whatever one has in his possession must be considered a gift by the grace of Lord. Everyone therefore should engage in devotional service through Krishna consciousness. If one wants to be happy and peaceful in his position, either as a householder, citizen, or a member of human society, one must promote devotional service. So there's one word must be Sanskrit in the verse, and that word must be gift of the Lord. What is that verse? Find out. Kushakashamayam baharir astirya bhagavan mano Ayajadda yagna purusham labdha sthanam yato bhuvam. Labdha sthanam yato bhuvam. Doesn't say gift. कोई शब्द नहीं दिख रहा है गिफ्ट जैसा. Verse number 32. Brahasmatim nama vibho yam niravishya samavasa tasyam pravishto bhavanam tapatriya vinashanam. Having entered the city of Brahaspati, in which he had previously lived, Manu entered his palace, which was filled with an atmosphere that eradicated the three miseries of the material existence. So the material world or material existential life is filled with the threefold miseries, and everybody knows this: body, mind, other living entities, and by Deva, Adi Devam, Adi Bhotam, Adhyatmik, from the superior governing authorities of the universe. It is not that the miseries of the material world completely vanish when one takes to Krishna consciousness, but for one who is in Krishna consciousness, miseries of material world have no effect. What it means? Like you have immunization, disease does not stop, but you are saved from that. So the miseries will remain in the material, but one is who is Krishna is not affected by that. We cannot stop the miseries of the material atmosphere, but Krishna consciousness is the antiseptic method to protect us from being afflicted by the miseries of the material existence. For a Krishna conscious person, both living in heaven and living in hell are equal. Where is this? One verse from the Bhagavatam. Na bibhidya kutas na bibhyate. Na kutas bibhyate. What is the first word? For a devotee, heaven or hell are same. He is not afraid of any situation. Because he is Narayan Parayana. Narayan Paraha Kutaschit Bibhete, right? That is what is written here. For a Krishna conscious person, from being affected by the misery of material world, for Krishna person, both the living in heaven and hell are equal. How Swayambhu Manu created an atmosphere wherein he was not affected by the material miseries is explained in the following verses. So these verses will say what Manu was doing, so he was free from the miseries. 3-line verse, 33 is only 3 lines. Sabharyah sa prajah kaman bubhuje anya virodhattah sangyamana satakirtihi. Emperor Swayambhu Manu enjoyed life with his wife and subjects and filled his desires without being disturbed by unwanted principles contrary to the process of religion. Celestial musicians and their wives sang in chorus about the pure reputation of the emperor, and early in the morning every day he used to listen to the pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with a loving heart. So Prabhupada's purport is interesting. Human suicide is actually meant for self-realization of perfection in Krishna consciousness. There is no restriction against living with wife and children, but Life should be so conducted that one may not go against the principles of religion, economical development, regulated sense gratification, and ultimately liberation from material existence. The Vedic principles are designed in such a way that the conditioned soul who have come to this material existence may be guided in fulfilling their material desire and at the same time be liberated and go back home, back to Godhead. It is understood that the Emperor Swayambhu Manu enjoyed his household life by following these principles. It is stated here that early in the morning there were musicians who used to sing with musical instrument about the glories of the Lord, and the emperor with his family personally used to hear about the pastime of Supreme Person. This custom is still prevalent in India and some of the royal families and temples. Professional musicians sing with the sehnais, and sleeping members of the house gradually get up from their beds in a pleasing atmosphere. During bedtime also, the singers sing songs in relationship with pastime of Lord, with sehnai. With sehnai. That's all. Accompaniment, and the household will gradually fall asleep, remembering the glories of the Lord. In every house, in addition to the singing program, there is an arrangement for the Bhagavatam lecture in the evening. Family members sit down, hold Hare Krishna Kirtan, hear narration from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and enjoy music before going to bed. So what Prabhupada is writing is, it is called, still we go to Sri Rangam temple early in the morning. Before Lord wakes up, there are musicians singing the song in Tamil language, Krishna, please wake, Yashoda has already churned butter for you. It is the time for you to wake up. They sing these songs there. So similarly, in olden days, the royal order were, the musicians used to sing some glories of the Lord to wake them up. And in the night also, like Jagannath, he was always listening to the Devadasis sing about Gita Govind, and then he used to take rest. So sometimes even Prabhupada asks us to every day read Krishna book before sleeping, but nobody's doing that. Right? Huh? That is, it means they are advanced actually. They are following at least Prabhupada's instruction. Read Krishna book. When we sleep after reading Krishna book or listening Krishna book, then the dream we will see something about Krishna. That will be in our mind. So, what Prabhupada said, then they sleep peacefully. Then whole day they should have these activities. The atmosphere created by the Sankirtan movement lives in their heart. And while sleeping, they also dream of the singing and glorifying Allah. In such a way, perfection of Krishna consciousness can be attained. This practice is very old, as learned from this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Millions of years ago, Swayambhu Manu used to avail himself of this opportunity to live household life in a peace and prosperity of Krishna conscious atmosphere. As far as temples are concerned, in each and every royal palace or a rich man's house, inevitably there is a nice temple, and the members of the household rise early in the morning and go to the temple to see Mangal Artika ceremony. The Mangal Artika ceremony is the first worship of the morning. In the Artika ceremony, a light is offered to the circuit. आप जानते हैं ये इसको करने कहने पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. So, temple worship of the royal family is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. There is stated that those who fail to achieve success in bhakti, yoga, principle within one life are given the second chance to take birth in next life in the family of rich men or the royal family or family of learned Brahmins or devotee. Suchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrishto Vijayate Atva Yoginam Eva Kule Bhavati Dhit Matam. These are the verses. So why these royal families as temples? Because they have already finished some portion of the yoga in previous life. Therefore, they have all these opportunities. So I was thinking many times, I don't know if somebody of you can do in the future. I was thinking like we have IYF. Similarly, we should have ISKCON royal form. Yeah, ISKCON, IRF. ISKCON royal, because there were thousands of royal families and their descendants is still in the country. And they have all their royal heritage with them. And they are born there because they are pious people. They have some yoga practice done, therefore they appear in those families. And if one or two of such people become Krishna conscious, then it will be easy to preach to the classes. We are not in classes, we are not in masses right now. Prabhupada wanted the preaching to the classes because he wrote the letter to the Prime Minister at that time. He wrote the letter in America to the President of America to meet with him. To the Lal Bahadur Shastri he wrote to the Indira Gandhi. He wanted to preach to the classes and he wanted to preach to the masses by bullock cart. But we are not in the branch of masses and classes. So ISKCON royal form. This is a concept I am meditating that sometime we meet those people. I think last year we have a Janmashtami in Udaipur, and the descendant of this Maharana Pratap family, the prince came there and he offered garland to Prabhupada. He brought some silver big plate of prasad to be offered to Prabhupada, some shawl. We just reciprocated. So these people should be preached to them. I remember first Rath Yatra they did in Jaipur, then the descendant, the king of the Jaipur, he came to receive the Jagannath and offered the Aarti. And at that time, Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj was on the Rath. But I was just standing there to give garland to the king and offer. So these, there should be a preaching to the youth of these. Otherwise, this youth is now going to be degraded. The royal families. There's a Saurashtra in Gujarat, no? Saurashtra, what it means. So means hundreds, Rashtra means kingdoms. There were 100 kingdoms there. And there are descendants. I remember there was one descendant of some royal family. She was coming to the temple. I think I visited her family. She learned to blow conch shell, and she was happy that she knew how to blow conch shell. Now she is married somewhere in Gujarat. So they are called Rajkumari, Rajkumar. Still the same language is there. So I don't know who will do this ISKCON royal form preaching project. Okay? We started going to the what is called Adivasis, Aborigines in the villages. That is also going on. There is masses, but we should go to the classes. One class, one moon is better than million stars. That's what Prabhupada said. If you get one right person, the more things will change. Yeah, king of Bhartpur, he wanted to give a swing for Krishna. There is a Bhartpur palace in Vrindavan. These kings are pious kings. All the kings have their place, their palace, their ghat in Vrindavan. They used to come every time to have a parikrama of Govardhan. So they are pious people, but we are not reaching to them. But we must learn how to actually interact with them. We have to learn this. Anyway, this is my some proposal. Somebody should take serious note of this and start preaching. Hare Krishna. Thus Swayambhu Manu was the saintly king. Nishnatam yogamayausu muninam Swayambhu Manum. Muninam Swayambhu Manu. Thus Swayambhu Manu was a saintly king. Although absorbed in material happiness, he was not dragged to the lowest grade of life, for he always enjoyed his material happiness in Krishna conscious atmosphere. So what Raja means? Raja came from Rajogun. The person in mode of passion is called Raja. रजोगुण के आदमी को ही राजा कहते हैं. उसका काम है विस्तार करना. So he is Rajsik actually. Therefore, they used to have a Brahman to always keep him in a mode of goodness. Though he is a Raja, but he has to be kept in mode of goodness. So ये रजवाड़ों को अगर हम प्रचार करेंगे तो बहुत अच्छा है. कौन करेगा आप सोच लीजिए. The kingly happiness of material enjoyment generally drags one to the lowest grade of life, namely degradation to animal life, because of the unrestricted sense enjoyment. But Swayambhu Manu was considered as good as saintly sage, because the atmosphere created in his kingdom and home was completely Krishna conscious. The case is similar with the conditioned soul in general. They have come into this material life for sense gratification. But if they are able to create a Krishna conscious atmosphere as depicted here or as prescribed in the revealed scripture by temple worship, household deities, deity worship, and then in spite of their material enjoyment, they can make advancement in pure Krishna consciousness without doubt. At the present moment, modern civilization is too much attached to the material way of life or sense gratification. Therefore, Krishna consciousness movement can give the people in general the best opportunity to utilize their human life in the midst of the material enjoyment. Krishna consciousness does not stop them in their propensity for material enjoyment, but simply regulate their habits in the life of sense enjoyment. In spite of their enjoying material advantages, they can be liberated in this very life by practicing Krishna consciousness by simple method of chanting the holy name of Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. So these verses are good for preaching to the royal form, that you can live lavish life, but still you only add in your life chanting of Hare Krishna, then your life will be perfect. So these are some of the verses that even that kings were using this in home, and they all have temple in their home. They have always their family priest. They have built many temples actually. They did do all that when during the, I think, Mughal era. From here, all the Maratha Peshwas were taken from here to Kanpur, from Pune to Kanpur. There they started building temples, and they all started there. So from Pune, they were actually dismantled from here because they have big following. They took the British them to the Kanpur. So Jhansi Ki Rani was born in Kanpur. Their forefathers were from Pune. So British wanted to really make them isolated. And they started building temple there. 1 temple, 2 temple, 3 temple actually. This whole Mittur area, which is at the bank of Ganga, that was their kingdom for these Peshwas. They were taking, somebody from Nawab of Lucknow to Calcutta, and this to that, dismantling like that, to disable, to untangle the structure of Indian continent's governance. Somehow this is what we are saying. This building temple is normal for the royal families. All in their royal palaces as beautiful temples. Some worshipper of Krishna, some Devi, but there is something going on there. Not Israel, Vrindavan, says Radha Krishna beautiful temple at Barsana, Jaipur Maharaj's temple behind the Laldi temple, Nimbark Sampradaya, 4 Kumaras there. The huge property in Vrindavan, maybe tens of acres, Radha Krishna temple on the main road of Vrindavan. They are all built by the king of Jaipur. There is a whole place called Jai Singh Ghera. Jai Singh is the king of Jaipur. The temple of Radha Govind Dev Ji was built by the red stone by Man Singh from the permission of great King Akbar. So there are all these people already devotees. Why we are not approaching them, I don't know. Hare Krishna. 35. कहाँ है हम? Consequent duration of 35? Huh? 35? Right? Ayatayamastasyasan Yamaha swantaraha vapanaha Shnavato dhyayato Vishnu Kurvato bhruvataha kathaha. Consequently, although his duration of life gradually came to an end, his long life consisting of Manvantara era was not spent in vain, since he ever engaged in hearing, contemplating, writing down, and chanting the pastime of the Lord. Since he heard about Lord, meditated on him, spoke about him, and made composition with his words about him, his passing of time extending for a manvantara was not in vain. A freshly prepared, now Prabhupada is giving analogy, and then he's coming to the point. The analogy is, a freshly prepared food is very tasteful, but if kept for 3 or 4 hours, it becomes stale and tasteless. So the existence of material enjoyment can endure as long as life is fresh. But as the fag end of the life, everything becomes tasteless and everything appears to be vain and painful. The life of the Emperor Swayambhu Manu, however, was not tasteless as he grew older. His life remained as fresh as in the beginning because of his continued Krishna consciousness. The life of a man in Krishna consciousness is always fresh. It is said that the sun rises in the morning and sets in the evening, and its business is to reduce the duration of everyone's life. But the sunrise and sunset cannot diminish the life of one who engages in Krishna consciousness. Which verse? Ayu Harati Punsham. So, example, Prabhupada was at the age of 75, fresh and able to establish this Krishna conscious movement. So, Krishna conscious people advancing, and they are always more active and more achievements and more milestones. So, they are not become tasteless, they become ever tasteful. So, Swayambhu Manu's life did not become stale after some time, for he engaged himself always in chanting about and meditating upon Lord Vishnu, and he is the greatest yogi because he never wasted his time. One who never wastes his time, what is that called? Avyakta kalatvam. And what is the stage of devotion? Bhav bhakti. It's the symptom of bhav bhakti. Avyakta. Avairat kalatvam. Okay, it is especially mentioned here Vishnu kurvataha kathaha. When he talked only of Krishna and Vishnu and the person of God. And when he heard something, it was about Krishna. And when he meditated, it was about Krishna and his activities. It is stated that his life was very long, 71 yuga. 71. Yesterday we were discussing 71 and 2. So 71 yuga. One yuga is complete in 432. 4 crore 32 lakh. 71 of such yuga is the duration of life of Manu, and the 14 such Manus are come into the life of Brahma. Okay, this is the general knowledge you know. Okay, next. Oh, his hours extending over a whole Manvantar period were not in vain. Why? Because he was always Krishna conscious. Now the verse number 38 and 36. Sa evam swantaram ninyaye yuganam ekasaptatim vasudeva prasangena paribhuta gati triyaha. So gati triya is in the purport. There are different types of three gati. One three gati is sleeping, wakefulness and dreaming. Wakeful, dream, sleep and sushupati, these are the different stages. Three other gatis are according to three modes of material nature: goodness, passion and ignorance. Urdhva gachanti sattva masdetishtanti rajsa jagan gurtiya dhogachanti tajsa. These are the three stages, gatis. What other three gatis can be? Dharmartha kam, three gatis. So, this is the meaning. He passed his time, which lasted 21 cycle of 4 yuga. 71, now is 71, okay? Always thinking of Vasudeva and always engaged in matters regarding Vasudeva. Thus, he transcended 3 destinations. What are 3 destinations? Having conquered the 3 miseries, he spent the Manvantar of 21 yuga cycle in hearing topics related to Lord. So 3 miseries, Chakravarti Pad says. 3 destinations are meant for the persons who are unable to control of the 3 modes of material nature. These destinations are sometimes described as awakened, dreaming and unconscious stage. Sushupati, what is called? Swapan, Jagrat, Swapan, Sushupati. Okay? These are 3 stages. These are for Gyanis. In Bhagavad Gita, 3 destinations are described as, this is same things: goodness, passion, and ignorance, and their destination. Okay. But one who is Krishna consciousness above these 3 modes of material nature, he is above 3 modes of material nature. In Bhagavad Gita, it says that he is in which state? Brahma-bhuta stage. He is Brahma-bhuta stage. Although Sarvabhouma Manu, the ruler of this material world, appeared to be absorbed in the material happiness, he was neither in the mode of goodness, nor in mode of passion, nor ignorance, but he is in a transcendental stage. He was in a transcendental stage. Therefore, one who fully engaged in devotional service is always liberated. Bilva Mangal Thakur says, this liberation is a maid servant to the devotion. ये मुक्ति किंकरी है, किसकी? भक्ति की. That's what is written here. The complete perfection of material enjoyment is to achieve some material gain, and they engage in material activities to have sense gratification. And after being frustrated in material sense gratification, one wants to be liberated and become one with the absolute truth. These 4 principles form the transcendental path for the less intelligent. Those who are actually intelligent engage in Krishna consciousness, not caring for these 4 principles of transcendental method. They are at once elevated themselves to the transcendental platform, which is about liberation. The liberation is not a very great achievement for a devotee. So, to say nothing of the result of ritualistic performance, religion, economical development, or materialistic life of its sense gratification. Devotees do not care for these. They are situated always in transcendental platform of devotion. Devotion starts after liberation. Gati Triyam can refer to the state of waking, sleeping, dreaming, to the 3 gunas or to the 3 miseries. So there are 3 meanings of the 3 gatis, okay? Oh, Krishna. Now we have how many verses left? Two have no purport. Sarira manasa devya vayase ye cha manushaha bhautikascha katham klesha labhanta hari sangsharyam. Hari sangsharyam, those who take shelter of Lord Hari, there are no threefold miseries for him. That's what it. Therefore, O Vidura, how can a person completely under the shelter of Lord Krishna in devotional service be put into the miseries pertaining to the body, mind, nature, and other men and living entity creatures? Okay. Every living entity within the material world is always afflicted with some kind of miseries pertaining to either body or mind or natural disturbances. Disturbance due to the cold, winter, severe heat, summer always inflict miseries in the living entities in this material world. But one who has completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of Lord and Krishna consciousness is in transcendental stage. He is not disturbed by any miseries either due to the body, mind, or natural disturbances of summer, winter. He is transcendental to all these. Bhakti is the cause of overcoming miseries. Divya here means coming from the intermediate sky, place of ghost. Manusha means those who take the role of enemies. And Bhautikaha means influence of cold heat. And Vayayase means Ovidura, okay? Vayayase, Vayase. Vayase means son of Vyas. Verse number 38. Yaha prishtaho munibhi praha dharman nana vidhan shubhan nirnam varnashvanam cha sarvabhuta hita sada. In reply to question asked by the certain sages, he, Swayambhu Manu, out of compassion for all living entities, taught the diverse sacred duties of man in general and the different varna ashram. These are the teaching of the Manu. Manu mantra is called Sadharma Sthapana. Each time of Manu, he established some special type of codes of conduct. So these are the sum of code of conduct of Swayambhu Manu. 39. Etatladi rajasya manoscharitam adbhutam varnitam varniyasya tab apatyaho udayam shruno. I have spoken to you of the wonderful character of Swayambhu Manu, the original king whose reputation is worthy of description. Please hear as I speak of the flourishing of his daughter Devhuti. Thus end the purport. Okay, finish. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Chapter 23. Devhuti's lamentation. This is a lengthy chapter. What is in chapter 23? The 23rd chapter describes the request of Devhuti and enjoyment of the Kardam after creating heavenly wealth desired by her. So this is the Kardam Muni's Yoga Siddhis, use of Yoga Siddhis and pleasing Devhuti. Okay, let's see tomorrow. Thank you. I think we are in time today. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.